Good morning. Just thank you so much for this time to share what God has been working on in my heart. So, when I first moved to Korea, someone had called me confident, and that blew my mind because ever since I was in middle school, I had struggled with so many insecurities. I thought I was like the stupid Indian girl because I was bad at math and science. I thought that like my thoughts didn't matter and my opinion didn't matter, so don't speak up, don't share them with people. Um, I believed that I was ugly and insignificant. And no one actually said these things to me, but I was so sure that I was less of a person because I didn't know how to put on makeup or I was bad at driving. And then on top of all that, I knew how wicked my heart was. I knew the things that God was telling me was wrong, but I was letting it stay here. So obviously, I'm not a good person and there's no love in me. And it got to the point where I was so sure of my shame, so sure that there was too much wrong in me that I couldn't be loved and I didn't deserve to be loved. I felt like a liar and a hypocrite every time I would go into church. I believed in God's love. I just didn't think it was strong enough to work on me. I knew that He gave grace and He gave mercy to everyone, but I didn't think it could actually do something in me. I was too far removed from that. And I knew that Jesus had defeated sin and death on the cross, but why would He want to save me? As far as I could tell, I was sinful, I was worthless, and I was unlovable. I had never had the desire to take my own life, but I remember crying so many times to God and telling Him that if you need to take mine, I understand. I accepted that my life had no value, and so if He needed to replace it with someone else who could do a better job, I would understand. As I became an adult and experienced heartbreak from the church, from friendship, from work, God showed me that I was never alone. He used the things that I had felt so insecure about to show me that His grace was real and that I was loved. When I couldn't drive, so many people showed me kindness and vulnerability and just like making me feel normal. When I struggled to achieve the status of teacher that I wanted to be recognized, God showed me so much love and encouragement when I felt like I was doing so poorly. The change in my perspective didn't happen overnight. It took years of crying out to God and being bitter and being angry. I was so frustrated because I couldn't understand if this great big God who could make me into any version of Christina that He wanted, why did He settle on this one? In Genesis 1:31, God looks at all He has created over the past 6 days and declares it good. Through this verse, I realized that I was part of that. God, from the beginning of time, has seen the mistakes we will make, the pain that humanity will go through, and the sins that we will stumble through. And yet, He still declares us good. You are good. We are good. Not because we do these great big acts of service or because we give so much money to ministry, but because we have the breath of the Almighty Creator within us, and there are no flaws in His design. A lot of these events and thoughts happened before I came to Korea, but it was here when I was on my own for the first time. I had to ask myself, what do I really believe? What am I actually going to live by when nobody else who had helped me understand my identity before was no longer with me? What kind of person was I going to be? One of the important stories from my childhood is that my dad went into full-time ministry when I was 16. Until then, he had always worked, and then all of a sudden, he started losing vision in his left eye and eventually became legally blind in that eye. It was such a scary time and so humbling because he was like this big, strong Indian father, and now he needed his children and his wife and everyone to take care of him. I just remember so many people coming and praying with us and believing that God was going to do something because the doctors had said there was cause unknown and no treatment. And so for months and months we prayed and we believed, and eventually he was healed. It came to pass that God gave him back his healing and he went back to work. Within 1 week, he started to lose vision in an eye again, and he realized that God was calling him to ministry. And when my parents told me that, I felt so much peace in my heart, so much assurance, because I knew this was what he was supposed to be doing. And through my parents' faith and their obedience to God, I believe that that has encouraged me to desire obedience over the things that I want for myself or the things that I need for myself. Lately, my prayer has been that God helps me to let go of all the expectations I think I need to have in order to be successful. As I am praying to be obedient, it might mean that I'm sacrificing the things that my friends and my family get to enjoy, those sweet, precious moments that I might not have. And it's not that I don't want those things, but I've learned that I want God more. This desire for obedience came directly from this church, from the worship that we sang, from the sermons that we heard, from the conversations I had with so many of you. We sang the words, "I have decided to follow Jesus. The cross before me, the world behind me, no turning back." When Pastor Shin spoke about the rich young ruler who could not deny his wealth for Jesus, it was like he was talking to me. And then as we've been talking about Esther and looking for God in moments where his name is not even mentioned, but he's there, I had to ask myself some hard questions. Do I believe that God is good, even if my life doesn't go the way I thought it was supposed to? Do I believe that God will provide for me if he asks me to let go of everything? Do I believe that God will love me and take care of me if it means that I have to live an uncomfortable life and get nothing in return? And I've learned the answer is yes. God is always good. He will always provide. He is always faithful, and his love never runs out. Where language, fear, and shame should have stopped me from connecting and building such a beautiful family in this church and in this country, God had worked and shown me so much grace and the ability to love beyond my own limits. I would like to encourage you now, this morning, to take a look at your own life. What lies have you believed? What pain have you held on to? It is so easy to get caught up in your struggles, especially today, in this time where it feels like every day brings a new heartbreak and a new hardship. This is when we need the church the most, to help us find hope and light as we face the darkest of our realities. Through GCC's gospel-centered teaching and through the community and through just so much faith and support here, I have been able to bring my doubts and fears before God. If you've been struggling, let yourself be known. I want you to know that you are not alone, you are wanted, and you are welcomed here. Thank you.